Welcome to this episode of Giving Your Dog Its Best Life. I'm Janine Smith, canine educator. We all love our fur babies and want to make the most of our years together. Join me as we discuss all sorts of ways to give your dog its best life. We'll cover a bunch of topics: health, training, challenges at different developmental stages, from puppyhood to crossing the Rainbow Bridge, and maybe just a little bit of storytelling centered in how deeply we love these amazing canines. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like and subscribe. I would love to hear from you in the comments or via email at janine@edupups.com. I'd love to hear topics you feel are important to your life with your pup. Together, we can speak, live, and love dog as we give your dog its best life. Do all dogs need training? I would suggest to you the answer is yes. As a dog trainer, I've worked with all different kinds and sizes of dogs, from 4-pound Chihuahuas to 180-pound Great Danes and Bernese Mountain Dogs. In a perfect world, all dogs would have just a few basic manners. It would really help with canine-human interactions and improve the quality of life for both dogs and their beloved humans. Are some dogs easier to train than others? Oh, yes. This is a combination of, well, it could be age, but also breeding, genetics, and environment. Some dogs are known for having what's called a soft temperament. This means a dog who wants to please, usually has the intelligence to learn quickly, and could be crushed by aversive training. That's harsh training methods, like out of fear and punishment, using things like shock or electric collars, choke collars, yelling, and hitting the dog. That is definitely not my style. Some of the breeds which have soft temperaments are Golden Retrievers, Labradors, Newfoundlands, King Charles Cavaliers, Shih Tzus, Poodles, Bichon Frise, Irish Wolfhounds, Maltese, and those Bernese Mountain Dogs. Those are just a few. Some breeds are more challenging. Terriers are known for being some of the most stubborn or hard-headed. It doesn't mean they can't learn. It just means it can be a little bit more challenging to motivate and to get them on your side. I have a friend who owns a dog kennel, and she used to say the word terrier is very close to terror. I invite you to prove her wrong. Can old dogs learn new tricks? Absolutely. It just might take a little longer. The developmental window of lightning-fast learning is from 8 to 12 weeks of age. So let's circle back to that age-old question of nature versus nurture. Not all dogs start on an equal playing field. The development begins in utero, so what the mama dog eats and her environment, specifically like if she has a lot of stress levels or if she's comfortable in where she is, can affect those developing embryos. And who is the mama? Who's the father? Who are these parents? Are they healthy? Have they had various health screenings like their elbows, their hips, their eyes, their hearts, genetic screening for various breed-specific diseases? That makes a difference too. The biggest factor in your dog's development is what happens from birth to 8 weeks. As a former breeder, I know there are specific developmental windows that need to be accessed at the appropriate times for that puppy to mature into a dog with its highest potential. On my website, edupups.com, is a very informative podcast, How to Find a Reputable Breeder. As a former breeder, it bothers me to the tips of my toes that some people who call themselves breeders and charge top dollar for puppies don't even really know what they're doing, and these dogs have had maybe less than an ideal start. And please don't even get me started on puppy mill breeders. I believe there's a special place in hell for people who abuse animals and children. Well, most dog training classes don't begin until the dog is about 16 weeks of age due to the vaccination schedule. So, poof, that big window from 8 to 12 weeks is already gone unless you start working on some things at home or you find a trainer who works with very young pups like I do. I had classes of 8 to 12-week-old pups and never had an issue with those puppies getting sick. They were a blast to do because, oh my gosh, those little puppies learned so fast. They were so stinking cute. But we used medical precautions like all puppies had their paws cleaned before class and no street shoes were allowed in the training facility. It was also understood that no pups would come if they had diarrhea or vomit for a 36 to 48-hour period. Most of you out there right now might be feeling a little frustrated and thinking like, well, gee, this is not how my dog started. Do I have a lost cause? Can I do anything? Can I still train my dog? And of course, the answer is yes, yes, yes. I have a very special place in my heart for puppy mill dogs, shelter dogs, and dogs from less than perfect beginnings. Good manners matter. Yes, if you have a dog like a mastiff which jumps on you, that could be a little bit more serious than a Yorkie. But I believe little dogs should be just as well-mannered as your shepherds, your Rottweilers, and your pit bulls. We don't want to add to those stereotypes of the bully breeds or how people think little dogs are nasty brats. People want to be around dogs with good manners. If you have a nippy, barky, jumpy dog, you'll find less people visit. So let's help our furry friends. They want to feel in control, not be anxious or fearful. If you can, start from day one, from the very first day that little puppy or your dog, even if it's a senior dog, walks into your house. The most important command is sit. If your dog is sitting, it can't jump. My dogs sit all day long. It's just something we reinforce like breathing. I use a hand signal, like one hand moving from my waist to my shoulder. I look at them, I ask them to sit. You can use a food lure to get them to follow the motion of the food. So you can take the food in your hand from your waist to your shoulder and ask them to sit. That usually works really well. You have 3 seconds to give a short affirmation like yes and get that food in their mouths. Timing is key with training. You've got to have pretty fast responses. I'd repeat it 5 or so times, and I would do this like 3 or more times per day. Little tiny training sessions work far more effectively than a 45-minute to an hour class. On edupups.com, I have a podcast about fruitable dog treats, but small pieces of cheese or meat are super high interest. And freeze-dried liver? Forget about it. With little puppers, I might use Cheerios or teeny tiny pieces of string cheese. Down is also a lovely command to have at your fingertips. Take your dominant hand to your opposite shoulder. Make a sweeping motion diagonally to your hip and say down. Again, use the food on that path to help lure your dog as you're training and teaching it. Wait is also a great command. Some people say stay, but they're actually, according to AKC rules, very different. Stay, when you put your dog in stay, you never release a dog from stay unless you're right in front of the dog. And the dog is supposed to stay in that position and not really move until you release them. Wait is a lot less formal. It's kind of like, hey, hang on, buddy, hold on, and then you can call them out of a wait. So I recommend you start with wait. Hold your hand like a stop sign. You say wait. And then if the dog is just waiting, not moving, treat. after 1 second. Then increase by a few seconds, treat again. And increase by a few more seconds and treat again. No distance at first. That adds a whole different variable in there for the dog. Get them comfortable with you being close to them before you start working on distance. Then you can. Another critical point to dog training is to increase difficulty slowly. Think baby steps. You want your dog to succeed. Each time your dog doesn't do what you ask because they're confused or you're asking too much too fast, it takes about 5 times as long to just get them back to where you were before the dog lost confidence and showed some stress. So you're going to make far better progress if you just increase your ask in tiny increments. Leave it is a command which can save your dog's life. This is where they might be getting into something and you want them to not do that. So you ask them to leave it. This one takes a little bit more to do and is taught in various stages. The first stage is to teach the words leave it, and you have a treat in both your right and your left hands. You put a higher level treat in your less dominant hand. You open your dominant hand, show the dog the treat. When they go to eat it, shut your hand and say, leave it. Depending on your dog, it may take a bit for the dog to sit back or look away or give you some signal that in some way they're kind of giving up and they're not trying to grab that treat. This is tricky for people. You need to really watch your dog and look at your dog, and it's a timing thing again, where as soon as that dog gives up, immediately give them that yummier treat from the other hand. The last good manners command I would ask you to work on is come. It's so important for your dog to want to come. Never ever punish a dog for coming to you. This is the other one I work on daily. I want 100% recall, which means if my dog is off leash and I call that dog, it's going to come to me no matter what. And it makes me super, super happy if that dog comes to me at a full out run where it's like me, dog. It's almost as if there's a tightrope between us and that dog feels me pull the dog to me. You want to start this in your house and get that solid there before you even try it in your backyard. Because remember, baby steps. Inside your house is the easiest for your dog. The dog has the least distractions there. You want a happy voice with high energy. Put your hands on your knees, bend slightly, and say, come. Again, there are lots of strategies for dogs that don't automatically get it. This is where you might need the advice of a trainer. I also believe in leash work. I walk my dogs daily. Having a dog enjoy a walk on leash without pulling my arms off is important, so I enjoy the walk too. This is also a great way to connect with your dog. That leash does work almost like a cable between the two of you. So a lot of communication occurs when you walk your dog on leash. If your dog has these basic commands down, it will improve his or her life. Not to mention your dog's relationship with families and friends and strangers. My goal is to keep dogs healthy and in their forever homes. One of my potential picture books is called The Backward Dog, about a dog who basically does everything backward because she's so confused about what the people are asking her to do. This dog has to learn to speak English, and its owner has to learn to speak dog, with positive rewards-based training that I've highlighted in this podcast. Good manners. Keep dogs out of shelters. So whether you have a mini dachshund or a mastiff, a few obedience commands can make all the difference in the quality of life for everyone. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Giving Your Dog Its Best Life. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like and subscribe down below. I welcome your comments here or at Janine@edupups.com. Together, we can speak, live, and love dog as we give your dog its best life.